Tell me.
Apparently you started playing poker at 12 years old.
Finish school. So like almost like the stars kind of aligned for me. You know, what I was doing, I bust that tournament and I've never felt like the crack, the pain, the desire to want to just buy in, play a game, like rebuy. Language barrier, we went hotel to hotel to hotel. Literally, there wasn't one place to sleep. We eventually...
Hi guys, welcome back for episode 4 of One Table, One Life. Today's guest is one of the most successful poker players South Africa has ever produced. Jared Solomon has recorded more than $2.1 million in live tournament cashes, sits second on South Africa's all-time money list, and at just 24 years old, he came within one position of winning a World Series of Poker bracelets. Yeah, this was even news to me this week. But tournament databases and records and results doesn't really tell us what it's like to become a professional so young, travel the world, or live through the different chapters of life that followed. Today, Jared's a successful businessman in his own right. He plays selective poker schedules and continues to produce major results. The question I want to explore with him is whether the version of Jared whose life depends less on poker may actually be the better player, the happier man. Jared, welcome to One Life, One Table.
Thank you. Firstly, I can't believe you've done 4 of these things. I've only watched 1, so that's very bad. I must go watch the others. Secondly, on the $2.1 million of cashes, my very close friend, Ricky Cloud, his favorite thing that he'll always say to me and say to anyone else when that topic comes up is he always goes, $2.1 million in cashes. Where's it, Sol? Where's it? I don't know. That's not good.
Interesting you say that. I actually watched a thing with a podcast of Ryan Apollo this week, and they're talking about people who got $40 million in cashes and are losing $30 million over their careers. So,
all that.
Yeah.
All that.
Certainly the way we play poker is not...
Chadwick's got like 60, 70, 80, whatever it is, and he came out and he said he's probably up 10% of that.
Yeah. It's pretty mad the way results actually work. Anyway, while I was doing some research into you this week, I found out a few things.
Yeah, tell me.
Apparently you started playing poker at 12 years old.
12? Might have been 13. 12 or 13. I was very young. Very, very young.
Interesting.
And I played with a friend of mine. We used to get around a table. I think we played 50 cents, 1 rand. Used to play like games like a lot of wild, Joker wild games, like Follow the Bitch and like, you know, I don't know, these small, I think it was 20 rand buy-in. And still to this day, anytime I win anything, I hear from the side that taught me. First time I taught you, remember we used to play? I rather never learned the game. Yeah, rapping here every day of my life from it.
So then we wouldn't have Ricky been able to ask where the $2.1 million came from if you never learned the game, right?
It sounds like a result, I'll tell you that much.
And tell me, as a young player, 12 years old, 13 years old, whatever you were, did you immediately recognize you were good at this game and it was something you could pursue, or was it just something on the side?
No, it was, those, for the next few years, was very recreational. I didn't really, I was still in school. Poker I think online poker probably took another 4 or 5 years to actually I think that was about 2003 Moneymaker, and I was 17. And then he had that, he won that event, and I think that's when the next year he released his book. Obviously our mission to get his book, I can't even remember how I found it, and read that book. And then that next year was peak was started becoming a thing. And I just finished school. So almost like the stars kind of aligned for me, that I was perfectly legal to play, into the game for a while, like this young kid with an interest. And, kids those days weren't gamblers. My mom used to take me to the casinos when I was young. I used to go with my friends when I was 14, 15. I used to borrow the ID. It was he's an African friend of mine. His name's Michael Ketwa. but he was a few years older, but Michael Ketwa, and he never had a picture. And I used to go in as Michael Ketwa, and the security guards would like look at me, and I'd be like, "It's Keita," to try like get in. But yeah, those were the early days. And then I mean, like just like Pix Peak started, and like I say, stars aligned. I'd just become burst with the game. They had their first tournament at Monte Casino. Can't remember what the buy-in was. Someone put me in, and I mean, I had no clue what I was doing. I bust that tournament, and I've never felt like the crack cocaine desire to want to just buy in, play again, like rebuy, like just play live tournament poker.
So after school, did you go to varsity, or did you just jump straight into poker and this was your thing?
No, so like I got into poker. I got into varsity. It was kind of just by, I'd always been told and had this dream and vision that I'd one day be a lawyer. So I first went to Wits, started off at Wits. I lasted about 4 months there, dropped out first semester. And then second semester was UJ. Second semester, I think, was UJ. I lasted maybe a month there, dropped out. And by now, like poker, like I'd actually started like winning a bit of money. But I still had this vision that I was going to be like a corporate person. And then my second year out of school, I like registered through UNISA, was going to like law school, everything was like done. And I just started, I'd like play the Sunday tournament. I'd go to bed at like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, win like 50,000 Rand. I was this 19-year-old student driving a Mazda Soho, win 50 grand. And come to varsity the next day, like 17, 18, like at 19 years old, at 7, 8 in the morning. And I was just like, I just can't, there's no ways I can do this.
Gave up the varsity and pursued the poker dream. And then obviously at some point between there and 2010, 2011 is kind of when you're grinding the South African circuit, winning money hand over fist. And from everything I've been told, spending it just as fast as you could make it.
Definitely. So I think I get asked that question a lot, when I tell people what I used to do, and when people ask me, how did I get so good? How was I so successful? And, I've never been a studier. I've never I had a few books that I read back then, but the big thing that I felt really gave me an edge and it got me making money locally was that I traveled early and quickly. I was Pix Peak, all Africa, like 19, 20. I went Aussie Millions, like 21, 22. I was Vegas, like 21. I went there and I had some success in Australia. Vegas, I got slaughtered the first 2-3 times. I did a few EPTs, and regardless of the result, sitting down and playing in those environments against very accomplished players, and then coming to South Africa where the game was still pretty new and no one really had a clue what they were doing. That gave me a real edge when I was just so ahead of the curve, when I'd actually seen everything and poker's all about experience. I mean, you can know the sims and you can know the stats and the numbers and everything, but it's just until you've been deep in a tournament numerous times, do you actually really know how to navigate the different tempos and to just experience. I just find experience is just massive with poker. Sure.
And talking about experience, in 2010 you made 2 WSOP final tables. I mean,
yeah,
this is quite an achievement.
I know, but it's bittersweet, though. It's bittersweet because
that was my next question. Come in second in that pot limit hold'em. I mean, that's not even a game they play anymore. Did that feel as though you'd arrived, or if you'd feel like it just wasn't enough?
At the time, I didn't realize what a big deal it was. It was a 10K buy-in, so the ladders and the swings and the amounts were just so big, and it was, people will get as well. The dollar was 7 then, so I know it's 350K. Everyone is 5 million Rand, whatever, but it's not really. It's the dollar was much less. Yeah. But
this was 20 years ago. Things were a lot cheaper.
Yeah, it's insane. But at that point, like just like winning that money, I was also playing for the syndicates. I was backed in quite a well-known syndicate was by James Board. There was Sam Trickett. There were a lot of like successful players that were part of that syndicate that we played together, and they backed us. And having that freedom, I mean, you yourself have had the opportunity to be put in spots to just like play and register and like give yourself opportunities. It's really, really cool. It's hard to have that these days, but yeah, back then it was awesome.
Yeah, it's changed a little bit. And in those years, I was actually chatting to Darren Kramer about this last week. He claims to have shared many a hotel room with you, and apparently you have many a story.
What stories of that guy? What's those stories? I don't know if he threw me under the bus. I must maybe check before I throw him under the bus. But
he never threw you under the bus.
No, me and Kramer, literally, we traveled the world, and like the things we've done, and I've seen that guy. He was playing, like when I was getting back playing the Vegas tournaments, he was getting back playing some of the highest stakes PLO against these live sharks. I mean, the guy was playing like 100, 200 live. He was having swings of like 20, 30K. He was walking around with a backpack full of chips with like hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was mental. I'll never forget, we once, we played, I think it was EPT, I think we played EPT Barca, and then afterwards we're going to EPT San Remo in Italy, and we didn't have accommodation, and we're like, it's fine. San Remo is a place in Italy, like you'll just go there and we'll rock up there and you'll just find a hotel, you'll find something. And we took a metered taxi. I think it was Barca, Italy. I might be wrong, but we definitely took a taxi, and we got to San Remo, and with the biggest language barrier, we went hotel to hotel to hotel. Literally, there wasn't one place to sleep. We eventually found it's not even a city lodge. It's not even close to a city lodge, how shit this place was. And I'll never forget, we spent the night there. I got attacked by bed bugs. I was like covered in bed bug bites. It was, a pretty traumatic experience.
Something you can do when you're young. I don't think the current Jared Solomon would be sleeping in that bed.
You say that, I swear, 4 weeks ago, literally in Vegas, booked accommodation. They're like, no, it's fight night this weekend. There's no accommodation. So I'm like, it's fine. There's thousands of hotels. I think McGregor was fighting. I was like, it's fine. I'll just get a hotel room somewhere else. Hotel to hotel to hotel. Eventually, I phoned my mate Ahmed. Ahmed, please, can I sleep on the floor in your hotel room? Sure, brother. So you say that, but there was a guy just sitting on the floor in his room.
Mad. I never knew that.
I literally, and I played, it was my second last day. I played this tournament at the Win. It was $1,000 buy-in. And I was just sitting there grinding, and like I'd have all these marginal spots. And like every time I looked at my hands and I decided, like, do I do it? Do I go for it? I just thought that if I bust this tournament, I'm homeless. I've got nowhere to go. My bags were in the bell desk. I literally got nowhere to sleep. And I just fold. And I landed up coming like 7th in the tournament. But still, I busted 11 out, nowhere to sleep. And that's when I made the...
Well, it's nice to have mates at least, right? And this whole period of your life of traveling and chasing the dream, kind of what year does that come to an end?
It's a really, really hard question, right? There's a few things. Firstly, I think the main thing is live poker tournaments are super, super fun. Like whether you desperate for the money or you're playing for fun or enjoyment, the challenge, the chemical dopamine you get, the rush that you get, there's just something really special about it, and I love it. That's number one. Number two, which is something very silly, which like I might just have to let go of, but like I've always had this dream, and I know now Aiden did it for us, but I've always had this dream of Nkosi Sekaleli playing at the World Series and someone winning a flipping bracelet. And like I wanted to be me, but I was happy to take anyone. They delayed his bracelet by like 6-7 days, and it was just a nightmare, like his thing. But like there was a huge like moment for me, because like every time I heard so many anthems and seen so many ceremonies, and every time I just thought like, when's South Africa going to be here? So there's that. And then, I've tasted it. I've like been there. Like it was a long time ago. It's the only problem. I haven't had like a really deep run. I mean, I came 11th in a PLO maybe in 2023, but like final table, like you've done 2 World Series mains. Like it's hard to explain to people. Like that taste is, it's special.
It's insanely difficult. And every year it gets harder and harder because the fields just keep getting bigger and bigger. And the truth is the players get better and better. Every single year I go there, I say, maybe next year we won't come because it's just getting harder and harder and harder. And then I'm a sickie like you. I can't help myself. Come 1 month before Vegas, I just have to go.
And it's gotten harder and harder, and you've gotten deeper and deeper. So, I don't know what to say to you.
Yeah. But it comes to exactly that thing. I'm still looking for the bracelet at the end, which still seems like it's a mile away, and I've been super close. I mean, twice in the last 2 years I've been super close. It still feels like it's miles away, but...
You say that, right? And I think it's an important thing because, you mentioned the bracelet, and I think I also mentioned the bracelet. And it's I think you have to have almost like quite a distinct goal, what you're focused on if you're going to do these international trips and stuff. Do you want the glory? Is that what you're like going for? Is that what you're pursuing? Is that what will fulfill you? Or do you want and need the money? Because the strategies and the approaches are completely different. They are completely different. And, I'm trying to get to that stage where I'm like starting to like almost give up on the glory. And I'm starting to think like there's so much money to be made there if you can just go be disciplined, put your ego aside, just play small stakes, pick your spots, don't tilt, like be selective. You can really make like some proper good money. The dollar's 16 to 1, whatever it is, like there's money to be made, but you need to kind of differentiate, like what are you actually, what's your purpose? What are you trying to do?
Yeah, that's a very good point. So somewhere between 2010 and this final table and where you are now, you stop being a professional poker player, got married, turned yourself into a businessman, normal life, turned it all up, and carried on getting better results than what you did before. Can you maybe tell us how you came to this change? What made you eventually decide to make the change? Like, was there some sort of factor, or had you just had enough?
I think when you're a gambler or a poker player, it's very hard to just have enough, right? It's like that freedom of time, of being able to wake up when you want, go where you want, do what you want. It's very hard to just say, I don't want this anymore. And my wife, Xenia, came to me. I think we were engaged, I think we just gotten engaged. And an opportunity came up at a company, like a pretty big opportunity. And she said, you've got to go for the interview. And I was like, there's no ways. Like, there's no ways. There's no ways I can go. And the worst part was I had to work Saturday mornings and public holidays. So I went from never having to work anything, to waking up at 9:30 every morning, to now having to work these hours, wake up, be at work 8 o'clock every day. And she's like, you have to do it. This isn't like a laugh for you. It's for the $2.1 million and the final tables and the this and the that. Like, I've done it all. Like, that's the stuff you read about. You don't read about, the hardships and the times when you're broke and you need to get money, and the next thing, debit orders are bouncing and downswings and like debts, and like, there are very few gamblers that don't go through that. I
feel like that's the story that never gets told.
It is. It's all very glamorous. You tell people you're a professional poker player, and that's what they see. And then my favorite thing is everyone like, have you won a lot of money? I'm like, yeah, I won a lot of money. But gamblers are still like that, And it's a very real picture, like that people aren't aware of. And she said, like, listen, you've just got to give it a go. You've got to try. Like, we're not going to be able to have a family, and you can't. She basically just, it wasn't an ultimatum, but she said you just got to go. And I was so irritated. And I went the first month. I got a salary, and I felt okay. I was still a bit irritated. But then the second month, I got another salary, and it was bigger. And all of a sudden I was getting slightly better at what I was doing. And then on top of that, I actually hit a rich vein of form poker-wise. I actually had some really nice results. I was playing sporadically in that year. So now I was earning money. And I think month 3 or 4 of me working, I got a result at Emperor's WPT or something. And I was nah, this is the way forward for sure. And then, the one negative thing against the poker players and gamblers versus what I was doing is I felt that I was finally actually my brain was awake. I was actually using my brain, because poker players are actually usually quite talented. That they can actually do a lot of things, but they end up in poker and gambling because of everything we've touched on. And that feeling of me developing a skill set and using my brain and almost making something of myself. I was almost over being Jared Solomon, the poker player. And, I'm now, it's my 7th year in the same position. I've built a name for myself. I'm now solely the watch trader player. I'm known, maybe not as well as poker, but I'm still my name's out there. People trust me, they respect me, I've just I've done that, and that's very, very fulfilling. The only negative, right, is you now go month to month. I slog away and I earn my money, and then I go and I sit in a tournament and I buy in for 25,000 Rand, and now I lose that money, and now it hits completely different. When you're a gambler, I always like to say your money is like soldiers. You send them out to war. They fight war. Sometimes they die and they don't come home, but they're out there to battle, right? When you're working and you're slaving for every Rand, and you go and you lose the 25K buying or the 40K buying, whatever, that hurts. It really, really hurts. So in that regard, I'm considerably more careful, I'd say. I still do some stupid things with buy-ins, and I'll go to Vegas and I'll play way bigger than I should be. And, I've still got that degen that lives inside me, but for the most part, I'm pretty disciplined.
Okay. And do you think that the success that first 3 months in, when you had just started working, and your continued success is part and parcel because you have the job and the pressure was off your head and you never had to win?
It's a good question. I think so. Me more than anyone, right? I'm all about luck and I've just seen it so much, and I genuinely believe I know it better than anyone else. I'll sit at a table and I will straight away know who's luckier and who's not. And poker is not, and it's almost like life as well. You go through these ebbs and flows and dips and sparks of good form and bad form. I'm sure you've felt it in your life. And with tournament poker especially, you can go through 50, 70, 100, I don't even know what the number is, of just tournaments where there's just nothing you can do. And, sometimes good luck, what people don't realize is good luck isn't only, you winning ace, king versus queens, or you getting pocket aces and the guy's got jacks in your hold. Good forms, even when you're people are just raising every time and you're getting unplayable hands, jack 3, 9, 2, 10, 4. You just can't get involved. You're staying out of the trouble. And then all of a sudden you start getting hands and you start winning chips. There's just so many levels to it. And yes, to answer your question, probably I've just gotten my job, bit of security, no more pressure of being this professional poker player. And, that kind of goes in tune with with just more free. Like, just playing better. I don't know.
And tell me, Jared, all the stuff you learned from poker, right? I saw something the other day that was pretty interesting. There was this, I'm not sure if you know who Abby Merck is. She's a content creator in America, pretty big poker name. She came up here for the Shuffle Up series 2 series ago.
I do know. Like and stuff, yeah.
And someone asked her how she got into poker, and she got into poker. She used to work on Wall Street in America. And her boss was a woman, and she went to see her boss one day, and she said, one day I want to be as successful as you. What do I need to do? And her boss told her, go learn to play poker and go play every weekend. And the chick thought she was mad, and long story short, eventually she ends up playing poker. And the bottom line from the story is that her boss believed that there were lessons she could learn in poker that she wouldn't learn anywhere else in the world. Now, bringing that full circle to you, like, what are the kind of things you learned in your 15, 20 years of playing poker that you have now translated into trading watches, other business ventures with your startups or whatever you're doing, that you think people should grab onto and use in their lives?
So, look, I think that's a common, I don't want to say misconception, but something that's the two are very associated. What you learn in poker and apply for life. And to a degree, I do see some of the lessons. I do feel it's overplayed a little bit because, in poker, you're gambling, you're dealing with luck. And although there are some common denominators, like, let's say, I don't know, getting the most when you have something good, losing the least when you have something bad. Like, I think the two biggest things are discipline. That is absolutely monumental. It's probably more important in poker, right? If you look at the professional poker players from South Africa over the years, right, there's a group of guys that did it and were super disciplined. They stayed out of casinos, they didn't sports bet, they didn't trade, they didn't do strip clubs, they didn't do drugs, whatever. And those guys now have a lot of money. They made a lot of money and they kept their money. Then there's another group of guys, probably equally as talented, potentially more talented. But they sports betting all the time, playing giant stakes, taking casinos, strip club, drug, like the zero discipline. And those are the ones that are always broke, having to sell action, having to borrow money. And it just shows you like the two different extremes and or the directions that it takes you, having the discipline and not having the discipline. So I think that's the one thing. I think another thing is probably ego/emotion. Ego, I think, is a huge thing in life in general for everyone. I think especially men. And ego at the poker table is absolute poison, absolute kryptonite. And it's something that personally I struggled for. I lost the battle for the first 10, 15 years of my career. And then probably for the last, let's say, 5 or so years, I've slowly started to arm wrestle, and I feel like I'm getting control over it at the poker table. In life, I still struggle with it. But that is a huge, huge thing. And that's where a lot of poker players can really, especially younger guys, you're earning, when you're in your early 20s and your friends all at varsity and they earn starting off as accountants or whatever, and you're earning all this money. It's just so easy for it to go to your head and for you to think that you're better, think that you're the best, think that you know something that they don't, think that you're doing something right. And it's almost, you feel entitled to win hands. And that's not how the poker gods see it, and just ego and emotion, always managing to keep yourself in check, tilt and just getting letting it defeat you can really, really, it can wreck you. And I think those three things carry over in life. And I'll say one other thing, not so much in business, but I've always said that you get two types of very cool, engaging, fun type of people that I know. Prison inmates and poker players. Prison inmates, because you've got nothing else to do the whole day other than hang out and talk to people. You spend your whole day just doing nothing and just speaking to different people. And poker players spend 9-10 hours a day sitting at a table doing what? Folding and talking to people. And that's why if you just have a random conversation with like a professional poker player or someone that's played poker, they're generally quite interesting. They generally can hold a good conversation. They'll have some good thoughts, some good introspective ideas and stuff. And they're generally like really nice, engaging people. Doesn't mean they're good and savory and like they make you your best friend. But in terms of table talk and having a chat and like introducing them to your mate, they're generally pretty good for that.
Okay. Looking at your Hendon mob, I mean, just this year we have like 7 or 8 cashes, still some big results. Came third in the 25K at Shuffle Up, and then obviously you never took the trophy, but you took all the money in the Invitational Super High Roller that we had recently at Monty. What do you see for yourself going forwards? Are you still planning on chasing that bracelet? Like, is that something that you're probably just going to do for the rest of your life? Or does it kind of just where poker fits in now, it fits in and your life continues with or without it?
This year was like a big change for me. You know, I went to Vegas and I did the usual, but I changed it up a bit. Normally I don't leave the Rio. I play like only World Series. And that's back to that ego and the bracelet and the glory and everything. And this year I played some of the wins. I played some Venetians, and I still lost on the trip. I still got a Harding, but I saw the opportunity. Like, you know, I sat in a 2-5 PLO game. I lost like $3,500, but I was like, this game, if I played this every day, there is no ways in hell I'm not coming out here winning money over the trip. So I came back, I said to my wife, I said, next year I'm going for 1 month, right? Family's coming with me, and maybe I'll play some World Series, but I'm going there to make money. Like, if I get glory along the way, great. But like the plan now, like the focus, I really feel has shifted. Even like these South African tournaments, like I play them, I enjoy them. I really, really enjoy them. You know, it got to a stage when I was like, the last 2-3 years, I haven't had such great results. I haven't run great. And I got to a stage where I wasn't enjoying myself. I was getting irritated. Like people would like tank and I'd get irritated. People would, you know, say something to like the dealer and it would like piss me off. And like, I never wanted to have that, the game. I don't ever want the game to be that hot in my life. I don't have to play. No, I want to play because I really want to play. And I think that's important for everyone. You know, you must just play for the right reasons. I think it's whatever your reasons are. I just think it must be channeled correctly.
Yeah. And tell me, Jared, to these youngsters that we have up and coming in South Africa, the Aiden Jacobs of the world who just won a bracelet. I mean, he comes out of this crew of 5 or 6 guys that are putting all the work in. They're certainly putting more work into poker than I ever put in my entire career. And possibly more work than you might have even. These guys are studying 6 hours a day, every single day. They're playing tournaments all night and they're going to varsity during the day. Like, if you could give them some sort of advice as to what the next step should be for them, what does that look like?
So definitely stay focused on your studies, get your degree. That's first and foremost. Like, can you still make it as a poker player these days? I think so. I think you have to be exceptionally good, exceptionally disciplined. I think it's tougher than it's ever been, and it's not going to get easier. Between the courses that are out there, the coaches that are out there, the rate that some of these places are charging, like, I think it's one thing if you're like living on your own, maybe living at your parents, and you need like 20, 30, 40 grand to get by. But when you've got to like rent a house, pay for school fees, support a family, and you're talking 100, 200K a month. I just don't know if it's doable. So get the degree, right? Keep poker in your life. Stay focused on improving and getting good at poker. And get yourself to a position where you have the luxury of choice, where you can play poker if you want to play poker, but your life isn't stagnating. You're still going forward and like taking steps in the right direction towards, cultivating like a really wholesome, successful, enriched life. Because often what happens is the gambling and the poker, like you can just obsess over it, and it can almost become like borderline unhealthy and toxic when you just like, it's ruining your relationship with your friends, ruining your relationship with your family. You just want to like get out of it if you're stuck. You want to just like play the next tournament, not miss a stop. Like you don't ever want to take that role. It's the best game in the world. Like, let it be the greatest passion, play it for forever. But just like really just, try and stay, try to keep perspective on like what's important in life. It's hard though. It's very difficult and way easier said than done. And then, I think just the, all the boys, I mean, I know them, they all lack the oaks. They're good kids. They're way nicer than I was when I was a kid. I was like a disgrace of a person. I literally used to come in with my Ed Hardy, Diamante fucking shirts. Literally thought Jonathan Khalil was telling me the other day, you were brass. I'm like, yeah, John, no, thank you. But so they're a lot better in that regard. But they must just keep it like that. And no matter how many tournaments they win, no matter how many bracelets they win, no matter what success, they must just try their best to just stay grounded. Remember, it's just a game. We're just playing a game, and the community's small. Hopefully they'll get youngsters coming through to play, because it feels like we're getting like a second wind into South African poker lately, which is what we'd all want, I think.
Yeah, this was exactly the discussion Darren and I had last week, and I think South African poker is booming. And the truth is, I think it's just going to boom even more now after Aiden's result. There's suddenly more options for poker between Shuffle Up and now Sunbet under their new management, and now Mark Joseph opening APC in Africa. The more competition I think there is in terms of running poker, the better it is for players. We've had PokerBet for a few years, but now we've got more online sites up and coming. Everybody's trying to guarantee more than the next to make sure they get the players. This is only good for us. And their faces that arrived at this Monty series this year are people I've never seen in my life. And there aren't many of those around in general. Like when you sit down in a high roller, I generally can look at the whole field and tell you everybody's name. So I think we do have a bit of a boom in poker. And I think that, in all honesty, it could explode depending on what happens with it going forwards. And I think PokerBet are doing a fantastic job in just pushing that and pushing it and pushing it. Like they just keep upping their guarantees, driving players to travel. I mean, they've taken a team to Barcelona now. And I think the more companies that kind of get on board with this idea, and we can slowly tap into the market that is around, because there are so many games that people you and I don't know about, but they're games that happen every single day. I mean, I walked down the street in the estate that I played the other day, started talking to a father his daughter was playing with my daughter on the playground. And he was like, what do you do? And I told him a bit about poker. And he's like, oh, do you know on a Monday there's a game? Yeah. On a Tuesday there's a game? Yeah. There's a game every single night of the week in my estate. I've never heard of one of the people that's in any of these games. And I think that the more stories like Aiden of winning bracelets gets out there and people find out that, hold on, this is not something that's happening in a dark room underground where we have to feel embarrassed about it. This poker community could just grow and just keep going.
I think so. I don't want to say it's a concern. I always get worried, like, for someone that's starting out, is it, you need that winning feeling. Like, you need to know what it's like to win and to like make money in order to want to play more and want to play bigger and whatever. And Do you know what I mean? Like, is there like, you'll tell me, I mean, you more on the ground than I am. Is there that? Like, is there opportunity for like a local grinder who's got like he's happy to lose like 2 grand, 3 grand, 10 grand to like go and dabble in like a Monty series, a poker bet series, a shuffle up series, for him to like get his fix and to like almost slowly start becoming part of the community?
I think there definitely is. Look, I don't quite agree with the way the operators are currently doing it. Like, there's no opportunity for you to just go play a 500 rand tournament at a casino in a week, like randomly on a weeknight. That doesn't exist anymore. And 10 years ago, you could have done that in multiple casinos. But the big operators are running satellites all the time. They're running satellites for dirt cheap, plenty free rolls. You know, my brother had a friend from work that's kind of just been interested in poker, whatever, went and played a free roll at Monty, landed up winning a seat to the main event. This is not this main event, it was 1 or 2 prior, and lands up cashing the main event for like 60,000 rand in for 0. Like, this guy will never give up the game. He loves it.
See, now the big thing is not only him doing that. He might have 1 or 2 mates that followed his journey and heard how he won the seat, and then he heard he went to Monty in 60,000, and then like that spillover is what like you want and need, like rather
and
than
that's exactly the story that we need, and we need more of them. And it's exactly the Chris Moneymaker story. It's people starting from nothing and finding something. And you know, it's almost a little bit selfish of us, but like Darren and I gave away a seat the other day to someone who commented in one of our YouTube videos. We gave away a seat to the SA Poker Open. And like, there's 3 people that have in theory won it, and they're going to play a satellite between the 3 of them to see who wins the seat. And one of them is one of them's a known guy that we all know, and he plays everything. And the other 2 are 2 people Darren and I have never heard of. And I promise you, like, it's our greatest result if one of the 2 we've never heard of wins this thing and then just rips off the tournament.
I mean, we know who we're not rooting for, right?
100%. Jared, one last question in closing. I think if 15 years ago I asked you, what does success look like to Jared Solomon? You would have said, you want the bracelet, you want the money, you want the titles, you want the whole lot. Now, as the stand-up family man, working class citizen, what does success look like to Jared Solomon in his life? And maybe it's not in poker, I just mean in life.
So I think all I want is pretty much what I currently have at the moment, just with one other thing. Time. I just want more time.
That is a very good answer. I don't even have a comeback for that. I swear, I don't even have a comeback.
Your questions were superb. I mean, I wish you would have briefed me before, and I would have come back with like proper answers. I mean, they were very good. And Gio, just to you must keep this up. Very, very cool. I know it's, you know, I told you the other day, I gave the social media thing a go. It's a grueling thing when you know, when things are going well and when they're not going well. But just keep it up. I know people enjoy it, and yeah, I'll just keep doing this.
Thanks, Jared. Guys, that's us. That's episode 4 complete. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. Jared, thank you very much. Always a pleasure to chat to you. Till next time.
Shot, yeah.
Andiamo.